Hello, we are back and we are going to start assembling the rest of our moccasin. So this is the part that we did before. We've got the main part of the moccasin here. It's got our sole already transferred on. If you look to the back side where the sole is not sitting, what I've done here is this top center mark, I've made sure to transfer that. This side fold that we made, I've made sure to transfer that. This center line, I've made sure to transfer that. Okay, and same on that side. Now we've done the same thing with our Vamp. This center line, we've made a mark there. Okay, so as well, you're going to have to cut yourself a long strip of leather. Doesn't have to be super huge. Basically what the idea is that it's going to be going around this area. So you want to have it at least that length. You can use scrap pieces for this and kind of fit them in sections, but it gets to be a pain in the butt. So if you have a piece that's long enough to go all the way around, that's to that point, that's honestly, that's ideal. Okay, so we're going to turn it around to our sole. Now, if you chose to do beadwork, this pair I'm not doing beadwork on, but we'll use this Vamp just as an example. If you have chosen to put beadwork on, you would put your sole and your beadwork together, and they would be getting connected this way. Okay? Because I don't have any beadwork on this one, it really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to put my strip there, okay? I've got much longer than I needed, so I'm just eyeballing where I want it, okay? And I'm going to take that and I'm pressing that strip in between these two layers, and I am lining up my white marks, the center mark. So you can see there, got them lined up pretty good. Let me just, I have an issue with, I have to take off my glasses to see. I'm gonna move that over just a smidge, okay? And I am tacking that there. Sorry, I had to do a quick pause there. I had my son was coming down. You can probably hear him singing. Okay, now I like these little clips. They're convenient for me. You can pick these up at any sewing place or Amazon. That's what I like to use. Okay, so we've got that top one there. I'm gonna kind of run this along the side just to see. We want it to be the same length. So I'm running it to make sure I've got the right amount there. And I'm going to take this very bottom part of my Vamp and line it up with that bottom mark that I've made there and tack it. We're going to get those nice and smooth pushed together. And I'm going up to that second mark that I've made and tack it there. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Run your strip nice and smooth. Now to the bottom. Okay, that bottom mark of your Vamp. is lining up with that center mark that you've made. Tack it. If you don't have clips, you can just use your needle and thread and tie a little tack mark there. Just okay. So there's my mark that I'm looking for again, and I'm putting that on there. Okay, so making sure that we're nice and flush across there. I'm going to go straight through that white mark and out to the other side. And I'm going in, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch. I don't like to do big tacks, especially on the end, because we'll be flipping this inside out. And then that area is going to be pressing up against your foot, and it can cause some discomfort if it's too big. Okay, now on this first one, so I've gone through once and I'm going through a second time. And I'm going to take this thread that's still hanging there and wrap it around my needle. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to pull that. That's making a really nice, good knot there. Okay. And we're going to start with our puckers. So I'm going to turn it around. Not sure if you can see there. So I've taken this long part, right? Basically what I'm doing is I'm pushing it up and doing that, but that's too big. We want a little one. It's maybe, I would say again, about an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm coming around to this side and pushing through. And that's the area where you want to be coming up, just on the outer side of that pucker. Okay, pull. Now we're going to go back around to the exact same spot you just went through. Okay, push it through. Take this side, wrap around the needle once. Okay, that's locking it in. Sorry, I had to do another quick pause here. Got kids coming in and out. Okay, so we're doing another pucker. Okay, pull that all the way through. And we're going through that same hole again. Okay, we're going to lock this in. Okay, take this, wrap it around your needle once, pull. Okay, making sure that that middle leather is always flush. We want all 3 of these flush, right? And back again through that same hole. Lock it in by wrapping it around your needle. lock it in. Remember, when you're coming through there, see how closely that I'm holding my finger? You are going to want to be very, very careful. I've been doing this for a while, so pretty good at judging where my finger's sitting. If you're brand new to this, it might take a little bit. So just go very, very slow. Make sure you don't stick it into yourself. And we've locked again. Lock it in. Okay, so I'm starting to get a little bit close to this, and it's kind of obscuring how I'm able to work. So I'm going to move it down. This does not need to be right there. What we're using it for is basically just for a guideline, an idea of how much needs to be pushed up. Depending on how big you make these puckers, it may be up here, it may extend down further than this. Every pair is going to be a little bit different. So you can transfer that, move it down or move it up wherever you need it. Just make sure that this area remains straight and smooth, okay? And so you can see I'm starting to get to the end here. That last pucker's a little big. I'm going to try and divide it into 2 more puckers. When I push that up, yes, I can get 1 more out of it. Okay, so now you can see this area going down now is fairly straight. So we're done with how far we need to go pucker it. So I'm just going to start working on the inside because that's how I was going through from that direction before. So I'm going to continue going from that direction. And you can certainly continue your locking stitch if you want. When I'm making moccasins that I'm selling, I always do the locking stitch. For these, because they're for my son, I'm just going to do continuous. My brain's not working right now. I can't remember what this stitch is called. We're just going through 1, 2, 3, you know, all the way down. Hoping you guys can pick that up on the camera. I know it's kind of hard when I'm using black material and black thread. And I'm just stitching through the same amount, about, what did I have of it? Maybe 1/8 of an inch. I don't know. You could go up to about 1/4 of an inch, but you wouldn't want to go much bigger than that. Sorry about that. Have to do a little pause again. Sunday, so everybody's home and kids are coming in and out constantly. So I think I'm going to finish this side, and then I'm going to have to probably do another pause. It looks like my camera's running out of battery, so hopefully we make it to the end before we cut out here. And then I'll be back and we'll work on the other side and finish up the bottom. so I'm not going to the very end. I'm leaving just this little tiny bit of a flap there. That's going to be my last stitch. Okay, now I'm going to go through that same mark again. I'm going to lock this in. 1, 2, 3, pull. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, pull. Okay. That. Into this area. I'm going to cut that straight across. So see where the end of it is? We want that to be lined up. We'll just remove the extra that we've got there. Okay, so I'm going to go charge up my camera and then we'll be back and we'll finish that side. Okay, we're back. Got my phone charged up and cleared some storage, so hopefully this survives through this portion of the video. So I've started a new strand here. We're going to put it through this center part again. I've got a big knot there, so it's kind of hard to get it through this one. Now, because we've already secured that the first time, we don't have to do it again. Just pull it straight through to your knot. We'll start pushing together our around once, through that same hole, and around the needle, lock it in. I like doing this side better, just my fingers can handle it better. Lock that in. Always making sure that this middle and everything's lined up there. Here looks like it's going to be our last one. Again, you can see, kind of pull that and straighten it out. Everything's straight along there. Okay, so now we're just gonna do our simple whip stitch. I believe that's what it's called. Couldn't remember it earlier. I believe this is called a whip stitch. And like I said, if you want to continue that that locking in stitch along this way, just go right ahead and do that. It'd be nice to have some background music on, but I'm not too sure what the rules are for YouTube. If they would take my video down for copyright infringement or something if I was playing music in the background. Not sure how all of that works. I know some of the girls do play music and it's fine, but maybe it depends on the popularity of the artists that you're listening to. Okay, so again, I'm leaving just a tiny bit there. This is going to be my last stitch. Now I'm going to go through that same hole again and lock that in 1, 2, 3 times around the needle. It's giving me a nice knot. I'm going to go one more time. 1, 2, 3 times around the needle. Cut our threads. Cut this leather back to line up with that vamp. Okay, now I might actually be able to use this piece down here. Yep. Yeah. So we're going to take this back side, push it together, and put our leather in between. Going to line up the top. And the bottom. And the middle. And put a knot in our thread. I'm going to start at the top, so where your vamp, the side where your vamp is, right? There's our vamp. I'm going to start at the top. Okay. Through that hole again. Lock that in. 1, 2, 3. Giving it a good lock. There's a lot of movement up there. And now we're just going to do our simple whip stitch all the way down again. And again, we're going to leave just a little tiny bit on that bottom. So I'm not sure if you can see that where my thread is coming out. That's the end. So that's about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go through that last stitch that I did and lock that in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now flip this the other way. Okay, we can push that excess piece of leather through. See that? I'm going to cut that off. Cut off that floating piece there. Now, you put your finger inside and push. And we're going to cut that. As close as we can get. Just be very careful you don't cut your moccasin. Okay, I'm just cutting off that extra piece. See how nice and finished that is now? Now you're still going to have a little hole down here. See that? So now we're going to flip this back. And you can take a little piece. You probably have a piece of scrap hanging around from somewhere. And poke that right through there. Okay. And just flush. So you can see there's the bottom, the top, and then we've got that piece stuck in the middle. We want to sew those together. So my thread is still here. If you haven't cut yours off, you can just continue with it. And go right through those 3 layers. And lock that in. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to work my way to the right and then to the left. Yeah, I'm at that end spot, so I'm going to lock that in. Just go around once, we can lock it. You know, I'm going to start working my way back this way. And you can use those same holes that you are already there. It can be helpful if you've got some tough leather you're working with. I'm at that end spot again. I'm going to lock that in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we can cut this. Just flip it back out. You'll see you've got a floppy there. We can cut that off. So again, push it in from the inside. And just cut that off. Okay, then we can turn the whole thing inside out. This part can require a little bit of effort. Okay. And so now we can see we've got this floppy. We're going to remove that. Okay, so push it up tight there and start cutting it off. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Kids at the door. And get as close to that seam as you can without cutting your moccasin. And push it up from the inside. You can just check. There's some areas you want to trim up a little bit, or just kind of go back over them. Give that a little rub. And just kind of fluff the edges back up of where you've been cutting, especially if you're working with suede. If you're working with leather, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you will still get a few little scuff marks there from going around with the scissors, but that's essentially what we're dealing with now. Okay, so next we are going to do our edges. I'll show you how to put those on, and then we're going to work on the inside, the liner, and I'll show you how to put those together. Okay, so this is basically what it should look like at this point. There's your sole. Yeah. And please know, if you try it on your foot right now, and it's going to be big. It's going to be very big, so don't panic about that. Okay, we're going to fix it up, and everything's going to get pulled in nice and tight. Okay, well, have a good rest of your day.